So matter of fact, it took SDI. It took a different sales guy who he went in the back door. I mean, he got around me and found someone who in my group said, "Why don't you just talk to him?" That was the only way. And I really so you can't. If you can't go this way, you go this way. If you can't go this way, if you really want in, you got to find a door.
Or make a door.
Yeah.
That brings up an excellent point. I mean, especially with BYOD and stuff like that. I mean, I think that going to the organization sales department nowadays is so important because they all have iPads and they all are out in the field and they're all trying to get stuff done and they can't get it done because something ain't working, and just trying to find out what their troubles are and kind of go after what their troubles are or get them to be your champion within that organization sometimes helps.
Who are you trying to call? Who do you want to get to?
Decision maker.
Who's the decision maker usually?
CFO,
CEO, right? Okay. Typically, what happens?
Called IT department.
Don't usually get to him, get knocked down, or you start somewhere in IT, right? Not necessarily a bad place. We do it. We're guilty more than anybody else, right? We leverage, as Jason said, the badge. The important part of the badge is not this part, it's that part, right? It works. It opens up doors. Let's assume that he is not there. He is not there. You get a voicemail. What do you do then?
Zero out.
And go back to who?
The reception.
Who you are being infinitesimally nice to, right? Because she's then going to transfer you to Scott's point, the
network
admin,
yep.
the desktop admin, the storage admin, the server storage guy, right? Or someone who sits next to the IT director. Then none of that works. Who else can we call on, guys? Who else do we know about what's important?
Director of sales.
Director of sales. What do you know about sales, Joe?
They're mobile, they got to sell stuff, and they're the ones in the company that really need the information, the data.
Why do you know that?
Because I'm there.
So you use technology to enable your sales force. You might be able to tell them a thing or two about it. Who else can we talk to if sales isn't there?
Operations.
What do you know about operations, Todd?
Well, if it's not working efficiently, then you're not making any money on the projects or the services that they're selling.
So how they communicate better, or back office collaboration systems like SharePoint, something you guys do, right? Or keeping uptime, disaster recovery, redundancy. Does he care about something like that? Probably.
A lot of times operations drives technology because of the efficiencies that they need to make up for that are driven by technology. That talking to the IT guy, you'll never get it.
Because he can only spend what he's been given. All he can say is no. He's been given a chunk of money. He doesn't get to make money. He doesn't get to make that decision. He doesn't get to add to that budget. He just says, no, this is what I have to spend, right? These guys are creating budget because they're driving business. Who else can we talk to?
We've got a couple of customers where the facilities manager has been in.
Sure. If you guys are talking about this, that's a great place to start, right? Facilities. Now, what are you saying to them? What are we talking about? What is that going to tell you about?
Access control.
The beauty of that is now you have more ammunition to go and leave that message for the CFO.
Or to go back to that's right. Or to go back to the IT guy, or whatever else your point of entry is, right? Wherever you want to try again, you can reference discussions or things that you've had or heard or things that you've done with others.
I was referred to you by your director of sales.
That's right. This should be the blueprint of a cold call. If you're calling just to ask for IT and to give them the hi, we're at net. We've been around since 1999. I want to talk to you about your 2012 projects.
It's going to take you 3,000 calls.
It's going to take you 3,000 calls. Now, that being said, now is a great time because they're doing all their 2012 projects. They just got all their budget. So you know that. So call knowing that. Don't say that. Say this. Right? Thoughts? Questions? A lot of blank stares?
No.
I'm completely off my rocker? No?
No, you're good.
Okay. Cool. Why don't we go get some lunch? check those emails. We'll come back in like 20 minutes or so. And we'll get into the
Oh,
meat
you got a
of
new
actual
one.
selling stuff, now that all this fun stuff's behind it. We'll talk about selling and closing.
No, I already got the times.
Hello?
Hi, Mr. Davis. This is Ron calling from the Daily News. How are you doing this morning?
Mr. Davis, and I'm not interested.
Okay, I'm sorry to bother you. Have a nice day.
Wait a minute. Wait, that's your pitch? You consider that a sales call?
Well,
You know, I get a call from you guys every Saturday, and it's always the same half-assed attempt. If you guys want to close me, you should sell me.
alright.
All right, start again.
Okay. Hi. This is Ron from the Daily News. How are you doing this morning?
Shitty, what do you want?
It's not what I want, sir. It's what you want.
Ron, now we're talking. All right, what are you selling me?
I'm offering you a subscription to the Daily News at a substantially reduced price. We're trying to reach out to people that have never had home delivery before.
Right, so basically you're saying that everybody else who already has a subscription is getting fucked on this one?
Yeah, I guess so.
All right, well, I can handle that. So tell me, why should I buy your paper? I mean, you know, I mean, why shouldn't I get the Times or the Voice, you know?
Well, the Village Voice is free, sir. So if you want it, you should certainly pick it up. But the Daily News offers you something no other paper can. A real taste of New York. We have the best features, more photographs than any other daily in New York, and we have the most reliable delivery in the city. Now, what do you think?
You know what I think, Ron? I think that was a sales call. Good job, buddy.
So you're going to buy a subscription?
No, I already get the Times.
Boiler room. There is no doubt, guys, that we wake up every day and come to work to get told no. Right?
Sure.
I mean, that's...
Some of us go home to be told.
That's the
It could be worse.
Oh, man. Sorry to hear that, guys.
Hey,
You know,
What's funny is I go to his house all the time and I never hear no.
That explains it.
Goodness gracious.
Alright.
No. Touche. Right. We hear no for a living. It takes an incredibly resilient group of people to do what we do. Let's just not make it any harder on ourselves, right? Let's call them the right way, spend the right amount of time, and deliver the right message. So, that all being said, this is the stuff that I'm excited to talk through with you guys. So we've kind of made these little cheat sheets here, right? Just these little laminated cheat sheets that you throw them in your bag, just take a quick glance at them, you know, on your way out. So, first rule of sales.
Always be closing.
Well, that's a good one. That's the ABCs of sales. How about first rule of sales? Just show up. Honest to God, guys. Just show up. Take that extra customer appointment, that extra partner appointment. Bring Amy, David, Billy out with you. Just go see the customer. Don't overthink it. Don't overqualify it. Just go see these guys. We talked a lot about, you were talking about responsiveness earlier. The reason people change is not because Presidio doesn't have good engineers, or that the pricing is even that bad, because all of a sudden it takes 72 hours or a week to get back. Because they say, hey, when can you come by? And they're like, oh, 2 weeks from now. Right? Just go see these guys. Right? Second rule of sales was what Weatherford was saying, which was all this is important, but you got to listen. You got to understand what the customer's trying to tell you, what their problems are. So we're going to talk about some trigger questions and things that we can ask and how we phrase certain questions to get that. But once we're there, then we got to listen. Third rule of sales, the whole time we talk about, it's not the what, it's the how. It's not what your number is, no, it's how you get there. It's not what you tell the customer, it's how you tell them. It's not what your value prop is, so much as how you say it. Right? It's not what your team does, how they do it. I think that's really important when we go from good to great. We start to get to that top 1% that we're talking about, this whole thing kicking off with those NFL quarterbacks, right? How they do it, how they lead in the huddle, right? How they make their decision calling, how they handle adversity. You guys know, you absolutely know something is going to go wrong in the course of your sales cycle, right? We're going to get underbid, undercut, someone's going to drop off, you know, not hold up their end of the bargain. You know, even when we win some of these things, the technology's not going to work right. We know that's going to happen. So what are we going to do about it when it does? When we hit that speed bump, how do we respond? How do we rally the troops? How do we maintain a calm, unified front to the customer? And how do we turn that into another opportunity to create stickiness in that relationship? Right? The fourth rule of sales is just be passionate about what you do. People respond to that. If you're not up in the room and you don't believe wholeheartedly in yourself, AtNet, or what you're selling, in this case Cisco, people will see right through that. And that means to a large extent, you have to have the technical knowledge about what you're selling to be able to understand why it's superior and to really believe that through. But don't be afraid to wear your heart on your sleeve over there, guys. Again, there's a dime a dozen of all of us out there. And I think customers do buy from us if they feel that we're invested in them and that we're passionate about what we're doing, so we're going to be there for the long haul. So we're going to talk through those things, and then we're going to get into ways to qualify and ways to actually win deals. So before we do, one of the things I want to ask is just take your paper again and write down your 3 favorite questions that you ask an IT director. What are 3 things you ask when you're in there? Let's say you've gotten in there, you've had a chance to listen to some of his problems, you've given your value prop, things are going well. What are the 3 things you want to walk out of there with? No. Okay, Trevor, hit us with a couple questions you typically like to ask.
What's your time frame on the project? Is there a budget? And when is the next appointment time?
Okay. What if we didn't have a project just yet? What if it's still the first meeting? We're just still
I'm
talking.
meeting with the wrong customer.
Okay.
What would help make your job easier?
Okay. That's a good one.
What are your budget restraints for this year?
Okay.
But what concerns you the most and might keep you awake at night?
Keeps you awake at night. Okay. What do you guys get good results when you ask that question? Just out of curiosity.
You could say indigestion or something like that.
You're an IT director.
I have night terrors. Me and Harlan have about the same thing.
Oh, no. Well, I mean, honestly, I've gotten to where I'll ask the question, but I'll answer it for them. So, I won't just ask, well, tell me your current pain points, tell me your current, I go, as an ex-IT director, here are some things that I had that went wrong, and here's some things that maybe your current vendors aren't doing for you. Are any of these applicable? So I try to put some words in their mouth, maybe to get them going and not feel like I'm grilling them.
Mm-hmm.
Joseph's way over there, with his hand up.
I always want to know what they like to do in their job, because we do so many things that maybe there's other things that they don't like doing and they want to give it to us.
Outsource the context versus the core. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So, go ahead, Mike.
I would ask, what are your biggest time eaters and your biggest budget eaters?
Go straight from the pain, right?
Where are you spending all your money and all your time, and does that make sense? Is that what you want to do?
Okay. How do those questions differ from 3 questions you would ask a CXO if you're in that room, or a CIO? Are they the same questions? Would you ask them a different set of questions?
Different.
Definitely different.
What are the 3 objectives that you've laid out for your team for the next? What have you put on their plate, and are you getting close to it?
Okay.
Well, if it's a CIO, I may continue down the technical line. If it's a CFO or a CEO, then I'm going to be asking specific business questions. What are your business objectives for the year, and how do you, what tools maybe do you see or do you need to discuss that would help you reach those goals as a business objective?
Mm-hmm.
So stop talking technology and talk really more about what's the business, what's your business, how do you want to be there, how can you, because they don't care about whether I'm talking about the coolest widget. They want to know that this is going to get them there.